Joining me now is Dean William Lamb. He is from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And welcome to the Iona family. We're glad you're on board.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
And so you were telling me that you started back here in August, but you came in June. What are your thoughts on Iona?
So I started coming in June to meet people, to get to know a little bit about what I was going to be doing and find my way around a little bit quicker. I officially started on August 1st. So I guess the first thing I would say is it's been a very welcoming environment. It's a very friendly place. So people don't just make eye contact and say hi routinely, they also hold the door. Sometimes they hold the door uncomfortably long amount of time. They're so polite. So I'm really enjoying getting to know everybody. I just started in the last 2 weeks getting to sit in on some classes, see some of the faculty in action, and get to see some of the students in class, and that's been a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that.
Okay, so what can you bring in your background? You have a very diverse background in certain degrees. What can you bring to Iona that would be unique?
Well, in terms of my background, I have a bachelor's degree in anthropology, I have a master's degree in education, and my Ph.D. is in business strategy. So I have had a lot of different experiences and a lot of different academic experiences as well. And hopefully that gives me a perspective that, that lots of different students, lots of different types of students going through different experiences, that I can relate to and connect with what they're doing, why they're interested in the things they're interested in. I tended to be somebody who roamed around a lot looking for the thing that was going to grab my imagination, and it took me a little while to find that. I had a number of majors in my undergraduate career, and I had my ups and downs in my undergraduate career, so I think I had a pretty full spectrum of experiences that over the years of teaching. I spent about 20 years as a mainline faculty member before I got into administration, and in my years of teaching, I think all those different experiences have helped me bring things across to people in a way that worked for them, even if they had a lot of different backgrounds.
Oh, very impressive indeed. Now my next question is, what do you find most challenging being Dean of the Business School?
Well, there's an awful lot of different constituencies. So you've got not just students, but all different groups of students and different particular concerns that different parts of the student population might have. We've got a lot of different types of folks represented within the student population, and so finding ways to balance their needs, have course offerings that work for them in different situations, different circumstances. And then among the faculty and the staff, same sort of situation. You've got people with different training, different backgrounds. So I'd say my role as the dean is sort of, to put it in electrical terms, I'm like a junction box. I'm a place where lots of different people meet, and I sort of convene conversations with different groups of people, trying to find how their interests could all overlap. What's a solution or what's an approach to doing something that will please as many people as we can, and while still, holding to the principles we want to hold to in terms of our academic standards and the way we want to do things. So there's a lot of balancing. I guess that's the short answer would be it's a balancing act. So there's a lot of balancing and collaborating and cooperating that you have to do.
I bet you've had a lot of meetings, especially being new, a lot of introductory type of meetings and administrative types of things.
Yeah, when I first became a dean, actually, I remember about 2 months into the job, I thought, I can't wait to get past all these meetings so I can start doing my job. And then I realized one afternoon at the end of the day, I think I actually just took a job where my job is all the meetings. That's my job now. And so a typical day for me, I'll have meetings pretty much back to back to back from usually 9 in the morning until about 6 at night. And there's not too many gaps in there. So the other stuff I do has to go outside that window, because one of the challenges is we have so many different folks on different schedules, at Iona, that some people teaching at night, taking class at night, taking class in the day, and finding the time when you can get together. You have to take the meeting when you can get the meeting.
All right, so let's move on to values. Which of the Iona values correlate with yours? How do they differ? How do they correlate?
So one thing I think is striking about Iona as a value is, I guess I would sum it up in terms of saying hospitality. That the friendliness, the warmth of the place. You know, I grew up in the South. That's something that people tend to value very highly in the South. And I feel a sort of Southern hospitality, even though we're right here on the doorstep of New York. And I think that's an exciting thing, actually, for people when they come to Iona, that they're in a warm environment, they're in a place that feels like a nice community, a friendly community, a tight-knit community. And yet we're so close to so many of the things the students want to end up doing.
Right. I'm sure you've seen, you know, many service projects that are offered. You know, there's those hospitality nights every Thursday at Montgomery House. So that is a really big theme and a really big value that we have.
Well, and I part of my research background and my teaching background was in social issues and management, and so the degree to which the students are involved in social outreach, working in the community, giving back to the community, that to me is one of the most exciting things about Iona.
Now, next question I have, by putting yourself in the shoes of an Iona student, specifically in the business school, what do you find is most important for them? So
I think, first of all, maybe this is partly because of the unusual path I took in my own studies. I think it's important to take a careful look at those electives, those opportunities when you can make a choice between a few different classes, and to try and add some diversity to the things you're studying, to explore a little bit and figure out a creative way to put some classes together that really are unique to you. Because one of the things I always encourage students to remember is you're going to end up looking for a job at the end of this process, hopefully before you get to the end, and that in the process of talking to people about jobs, you need to have a good story. You need to have a personal, compelling story about what school meant to you, what you tried to accomplish while you were here, and what's unique about your approach to the classes you selected and the activities you were involved in. So one of the things would be to be open-minded in the classes that you pick. Another would be to make sure you do something while you're in school, and this to me doesn't just apply to business but to everybody, to look for things that give you an opportunity to experience the real world and relate what you're doing in your class to what's happening in an actual organization, a business or a government agency or a non-governmental organization, whatever it is that you're interested in doing. But to get an opportunity to take the internship or to volunteer, to do something that connects your studies to the community. And then the third thing I reiterate whenever I get a chance is just to encourage people to be persistent, to keep pushing ahead. Because college is one of those big life transitions. So many different things are happening all at the same time. You're not just learning in class, but learning to strike out on your own, to set up your life, your household the way you want to set it up. I think it's important to try and ride the ups and downs that occur during the time that you're in school, and remember that how important it is long term to finish, to complete your studies.
Now, do you have any plans to change anything in the business school? Do you have any new intentions, any big changes that you think will be coming?
Well, the starting point for that discussion is to talk to as many faculty and as many students and staff as possible, get a feeling for what they like about what we do, what they think could be changed. So I've been taking, a lot of the meetings I've been taking so far have been meetings to talk about that, try and get a grip on where people think we are and where they'd most like to be. So we're already talking about a number of things. I think, for the college as a whole, we've got an exciting new approach to the core curriculum that's being rolled out now. I'm sure we'll be having continued discussions about the core and any adjustments we might want to make to the core, as a whole college. We also, I think, will be wanting to take a look at the business school core and the business school curricula as well, just to have the faculty really think of whether or not everything is the way they want it to be, and is it responsive to what students today want. One thing I would love to see, I haven't got a specific way that we get to this yet, but one of the questions I'm asking lots of people is how do we get a little bit more flexibility within the curriculum so the student can customize it a little more to their own personal tastes and interests. Where could we find some places that you could open up the choice set, open up the options a little bit for people? At the graduate level, I'd love to see us have even more success. We have a number of students who stay for a 5th year and go right into graduate school. I'd like to have more options and more ways for people to do that. So we're taking a look at some of our master's programs to say, how do we make these various programs mesh more easily with your undergraduate study, so that you could put a 5-year plan together if that's your preference. And then within the MBA, I think we'll also take a look at the MBA and just do some comparisons of ourselves to other schools that are out there and try to figure out if there's some adjustments we'd make to the curriculum there. In general, I think there probably could be some more things we do with our online learning and hybrid learning, giving students a little bit of flexibility. Say you're on an internship, you have to be away. Could you get a class done while you're away if we offered you a few more choices of ways to complete the course? That sort of thing.
And do you believe that there will be more 5-year programs that will be added to the business school in the next few years?
I think it's possible. I think the starting place for me is to look at the programs we already have and say, how can we make these programs more doable within the 5-year plan? How do we get the number of credits to be the right number of credits, and how do we structure them so that it's easier for a student to look at the program and say, that's actually something I would stay for a 5th year to do. We already have a good approach to that with the MBA program, and there's an awful lot of students who do that with the MBA, but I think there's some MS degrees we could probably do that with as well. I think there could be some new things. I think we have to have a few more discussions, a little more time to talk about it as a faculty to sort out what they might be.
Yeah, I mean, I even notice outside of the business school, going back to what you were saying about, interning, and it seems that the hybrid courses are becoming more popular, whether that's once or twice a week for an hour or an hour and 18 minutes, or even just a 2-hour night class. That's really good. It's a great start for students, especially when they're interning all day, or if they have to intern on certain days. It really helps with the scheduling.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to like about hybrid. I think I actually, personally as a student, I'd rather take hybrid than fully online. And I think in some ways that's more compatible with Iona, because we have nice small class sizes. People get to know each other well. They get to know their classmates well, their professor well. And one of the nice things about hybrid is you do get that face-to-face contact. Even if it's only a modest amount, you get face-to-face contact. There's something different about that. And so I think hybrid to me is a really exciting prospect for the future. And I do love the flexibility it gives people.
All right, so my final question for you is, how will the planned new business school building collaborate with the new Heinz Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation? Like how will it aid in the future of the business school?
So those two initiatives are two of the reasons I was so excited to come here. And if I start with the building, I think the building is a real game changer for us. I think that building is going to, first of all, put all the departments, all the faculty under one roof for the first time in our history. And that's going to make it a much stronger sense of community, I think, among the faculty, but also among all the students who are coming to see the faculty. Mm-hmm. I also think the way they've designed the building, I love the fact that it's built around this atrium that can be a gathering place. We can hold events, but it's also a place where you could be studying at a table in the atrium and people walk by and you have a chance to just collide with people who have some similar interests, where you get a stronger sense of a tight-knit community. I think the building's going to be huge in that. I also think it's going to be the kind of facility that people look at and see as a very exciting place to come to school. So I think it's going to help us compete in an increasingly competitive market for students. It's going to help us compete and recruit even better. As far as the Heinz Institute goes, I'm actually coming here from a school that emphasized entrepreneurship, and some of my research is related to entrepreneurship and a lot of my teaching related to entrepreneurship. So I'm very excited about the Heinz Institute, and I've enjoyed getting to know and working with Professor Winkler, and I think that has an opportunity to. The approach that's being taken, where it's sort of a campus-wide initiative, it's not just a business school initiative, I think is really smart, because I think the curriculum within Hines is going to give us an opportunity to come up with a distinctive edge to what you get when you come to Iona, no matter what your major ends up being. Because entrepreneurship, a lot of people hear that word and they think it means small business, that it's a specific thing. But it's not really a thing. It's more, you've got to think of it more as a verb. You know, it's about how you act, it's about how you think, it's about your mindset, how you attack a problem. And I think that's how Professor Winkler's envisioning the coursework and the student activities that he's rolling out. And actually my next meeting is going to be the curriculum committee for the Hines Institute. And I'm just really excited to see the impact that has across all our curricula.
All right, well, Dean Lamb, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. I do appreciate it. And thank you to the Marketing and Communications Department here at the college and the Iona College Mass Communication Department for assisting in this interview today. And for now, I'm Matt Ricker. Thank you for joining us.